Hello everyone, and welcome to another custom Thomas Wooden Railway review video, or another showcase of a custom Thomas Wooden Railway model that I've done. And in this video, I am taking a look at a custom model that I have done on Carly, the new crane that is working at Brendam Docks. Well, she's not that new anymore. I mean, she is the newest crane. She's the crane that has worked at Brendam Docks for the least amount of time. So she's pretty much the most recent crane to arrive on Sodor, but she's been around for 2 seasons now. Although we haven't seen a lot of her because there haven't been very many episodes that are focused on the docks, or in general focused on her as well as Cranky, and also Big Mickey. So anyway, I went ahead and did a custom on Carly because they have not made either a Thomas Wooden Railway or even a Thomas Wood Carly, and I don't know if they are going to in the case of Thomas Wood, since that's pretty much the modern version of Thomas Wooden Railway, which some people may like, some people may not. Pretty much depends. Although with the whole revision in 2019, things have got better. But anyway, first I'm going to give a little backstory in regards to Carly, just in case you may not know who this character is. Carly was introduced in the episode, what was it? Let's see, it wasn't New Crane at the Docks. It was it called Creaky Cranky? Or was that another episode? Okay, well anyway, it's the episode that Cranky was working very hard, and he was starting to creak so much that he was worried that he was getting old, and that Sir Topham Hatt would need to replace him with a new big fancy crane. And Sir Topham Hatt did get a new big fancy crane, but for the purpose of helping Cranky rather than replacing him. And so Carly was brought in, but then the following episode was New Crane at the Docks, where we get to know a little more about Carly, because Carly just showed up at the end of that previous episode. So the whole idea is that Carly was, the episode pretty much showed Carly during her first days working at Brendam Docks and learning to work alongside Cranky. They were kind of having some sort of a kind of problems with what crane was to unload what on the docks, since she was new and she didn't know all that much compared to Cranky, since he had been on Sodor for quite a long time. But anyway, they managed to get things in at the end with a story that Salty told about a two-headed sea serpent who needed to learn to cooperate with himself, because he has 2 heads. And then there was something extraordinary at the end of the episode where Big Mickey, the big crane that is at the end of the docks, right next to Cranky and Carly, 3rd crane down going this way, although at the moment he's not there, because I have not made a Big Mickey custom model, but I do have plans to. He's just not there now. Now, something that I had read online is that originally Carly's name was going to be Mildred, but the executives thought that that name sounded too old, so they named her Carly instead. And what's funny is that Mildred would later be used as one of the possible names that the two-headed sea serpent had in Salty's story, with one other possible name for the serpent being Monstro, which is referencing the Disney version of Pinocchio, because that was the name of the wicked whale that appeared at the end of the movie and was the last antagonist to appear in that movie before, the end and all that. So, with this custom model of Carly, this is made from a combination of a wooden railway yellow crane, which didn't have a face, by the way. In fact, originally this crane was actually part of a platform. In fact, here is the platform that the crane was originally part of. These holes right here indicates where the crane used to attach to. It was nailed down onto this platform, and I took the screws out. And I'm not sure if I will actually put anything on this platform right here, whether it be like maybe some sort of a building, or maybe even use this as a, some sort of a tanker or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I just have it on the layout at the moment. And then then what I did was actually glue the crane itself onto this old Brio flatbed. It was yellow originally, but I spray painted the wheels because the wheels were originally red. I spray painted them yellow to match with the rest of it. And I did that because I wanted Carly to be a mobile crane, since she is able to move back and forth at the docks in the actual episodes. And what I did was create her own little track section where she can go from side to side, quite similar to Reg and the Percy and Reg at the Scrapyard set. And then, once I had gotten all that done, I needed to come up with some sort of way for Carly to have a face. And I had gone through a number of different possibilities for what face she could have, like maybe use Mavis's face, or Old Slow Coach's face. But I just could not find any sort of face that just really would fit in with Carly right there. So what I ended up doing was actually using model magic to make the face, and when I looked up an image of Carly to use for reference, I did notice how she had the sort of extended cab right there. The crane originally had this very flat section. In fact, you see the picture of the crane operator on the side. There was originally an image at the front too, which is covered up now. And that is covered up with the addition of a yellow cab, which I used. I made it from Model Magic, needed to get some yellow in there, and then I took some light blue Model Magic to create the roof, because Carly does have a light blue roof on this section of her. And then took some gray Model Magic, as well as some white, and created the face. And then I used a black Sharpie's marker to create the eyelids, and the mouth, and the eyebrows, and the eyelashes, as well as the window on the side, on both sides. And then took a blue Sharpie's marker and wrote her name on either side of her, since her name is over on the side. It certainly does look like a custom model. It doesn't in any way look like an actual product, but it's still very nice nonetheless. A very good custom representation of a character that we never got in wooden railway or wood form, at least not as of June of 2019, when this review video was filmed. And the crane does happen to have some red bits all over. Those were part of the crane originally. I had wondered if those were actually the result of the previous owner that I bought this crane from eBay from, just taking a red Sharpie's marker and putting it on some sections of the crane. But I did look up official images of this crane, and the red markings were always there, so it was not the result of getting this used and where the previous owner just happened to do some red markings. Now, Carly does not have those, and I also know that she should also have some sort of a spiral case around her her body, much like in the actual show. But what we got here is just a crane that's completely squarish and does not have that sort of pattern. We just have this you know, ladder that's painted on the side where the operator can climb up into the operating room. Maybe at some point I may decide to add a sort of spiral staircase around Carly to make her look more accurate to the TV series, but I think that I am happy with how she turned out in the end. So, so you can let me know what you think about this custom model and what you think could have been done better. Like what you probably would have done if you were to make a custom one of these, or what you probably would have done better than what I have shown here, or what I could have done to improve how this looks. But regardless, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. And you know, the crane arm does still work, just like it always had been, even though it's the hole right above the cab is, well, it's not completely covered up. It can still do its job just fine. So anyway, that is it for my review on my custom wooden railway Carly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.